Alright, see? Yeah, that's infinitely better than what I had before. Dear God, the light make a difference. Yeah. So, okay, right. So, if we're writing this, you know, I should write it in black so that it's a little bit, separated from. Yeah. So this A line up with that 20. This B line up with that 9, and whatever sign is in front of the 9 you keep. So if it's a plus 9, it's a positive 9. If it's a minus 9, you put minus 9. And then the C is again, not go be 20, go be minus 20, right? So that's what we want to remember that. So this is 20, this positive 9, this minus 20. And it's also possible for this to happen. So since you have the possibility of plus minus, you also can have minus minus, in which case, hold on, good lord, sorry about that. Yeah, there we go, right? So the thing that would trip up most people, and I made a whole video about that, which I'll probably go post up later. The minus signs, we have to be careful with them, because that's the thing that will trip you up with all of these substitutions that you're going to do. Because in this case, when b is equal to minus 9, when we substitute it here, we're going to end up with minus, call it minus 1 times minus 9, and minus times a minus, that will be plus, and you end up with a plus 9. Now I could actually give a breakdown of that. I can't always write the whole of this back. So let me try and explain that first. Right? So let's say you have 4 possibilities. You have this, let's make sure it's set. Okay. So those are 4 of your possibilities, right? So here's the way I see it. There are different ways that people look at this, but I go tell you how I translate this. The plus signs accept you as you are, right? So if you, let's say you show up to me as a positive, right? Then if you show up to me as a positive, you remain positive. So I am not trying to change you, right? Same thing down here. If you show up to me negative, I am not going to try to change you. I'll accept you as you are, right? So you have that. Yeah? So, plus times plus, yeah, positive, plus times minus, negative, because I accept you as you are. Now this is where it get different now. This is me saying, you're too happy, me not like it, you need for miserable like me. Right? So you show up to me, you're happy. But me don't want that. I want you to be just like me. Misery loves company, if you want to call it that. And then now, this now is like one of them cowboy movie there, right? There's not enough space in the world for the two of us. Therefore, it's only one of we can bad. Two of we can bad. Is either the sheriff or the outlaw. It now gonna be the two of we. The two of we can't coexist, right? So therefore, because of that, well, you have to go switch and become positive. Right? But that's just the, you know, that is my way of translating it. Right? That's my way of doing that. No. Here's another way you can look at it. When the signs are the same, it come out positive, right? So this times this, come out positive. This times this, come out positive. When the signs are different, them come out negative. Yeah? So that's an alternative way of looking at that. So let us say you are now to put numbers to all of this. So let's say you had positive 6, positive 5, obviously that is positive 30. If you have positive 6 with a negative 5, you'll end up with a negative 30. Right? Again, minus 6 by a positive 5, same thing, end up with a negative 30. So hold on, let me move this a little bit. Yeah, and then now lastly, a minus 6 times a minus 5 result in a positive 30. Right? So sometimes it's good to get the, what you call it now, the visual of it, so that way when you apply it to the numbers, it actually makes sense. Right? So since you know what the outcome of them would be beforehand, you can focus on what the sign is going to be, and then of course the numbers, they're not going to change. 6 times 5 is always 30. The only thing that will change is whether or not it will be positive or negative, depending on what number is positive or negative. Both of them positive, them come out positive. Both of them negative, come out positive. One of them being different, make it different. Right? So it don't matter how you want to view it. That's the reason why when you have this here, the b being minus 9, when you have minus b, you cannot write back minus 9, because what you're going to end up with is minus 9, which is basically like saying minus 1 times minus 9, right? Just, and then of course when you multiply a minus by a minus, it becomes, yeah, it cancels out. Right? So I wanted to explain that, so that when I do everything else, it makes sense. So when I went to school, this was beaten into my memory, Yeah, so I instinctively remember this. Right? Now, instead of us wasting time trying to put them in individually, right? I come up with a little method to my madness, right? So I could write them somewhere over here. So let's say I have minus b. Oh, you can't even see that. Look at me. Hold on there. Oh, that is actually crazy. You can't see that. All right. Let me move that over a little bit then, yeah? All right. So let me write minus b. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, only God knows why I was, off screen. Right? So we have minus b. We have b squared. Yeah, I guess we could be technical and call it minus 4ac, but we're not going to do that. We're just going to call it 4ac. We don't have time for all of that foolishness. Right? You know what? Here we go. Let me do it like this. So we have minus b here. We have b squared here. We have 4ac and we have 2a. So let us okay. So obviously, to make this easier, I need to remember what A, B, and C is. So let me just write that. So we need A, we need B, and we need C. Why? I thought I had enough space. There we go. That's what I wanted. All right. So the A being 20, the B being minus 9, and the C being minus 20. Right? So that's what we need. But you know what? Since I already did this, I'll get rid of that part right here, so. And we can put them here. So that way, because typically that's what you're going to do anyway, right? So A is 20, B is minus 9, minus 20. Alright, so let me go back over here now. Yeah. So now this is what we're going to use and plug them in to that right here. Right? Now if B is minus 9, then minus B is going to be positive 9. Right? So might as well just do that. Now you can do the multiplication if you want, but you still go and get the same thing. Right? Because this is B times 1, this is B times minus 1. Minus 1 times that give you the plus 9. Right? Now, when you square B and the B is minus 9, B times B is B squared. Minus 9 times minus 9, as you remember, when you multiply two negatives, it come out positive. So that's why 9 by 9, this is going to be 81. It will come out to be a positive 81. So we have that. Now we have 4AC. Now to make that easier, we always use the AC method when we're doing the way that we factorize this, right? So we always instinctively go towards multiplying this by that. So fine, 20 times 20, that are 400. Now you can use the prime numbers to get that. That's you know what? It's alright. I'm not going to do that now. I'm going to make any little drill that I think everybody should know. I will make that separate from this that I'm doing right here. So 20 times 20, 400, and it's a minus 400. Now here's what make it nice, right? When you're multiplying a number by 4, here's a cheat code that you can use. To multiply a number by 2, you take that number, add it to itself. The answer you get for that, add that to itself, and you have multiplied it by 4. Right? So, say for instance, in this case, we have what? 20 times 20, we have 400. So, 400 is AC. To get 2 AC, we add 400 to 400, so that's going to be 800. So if we want to get now 4 AC now, we'll add 800 to 800. So that's going to be 1600, right? Now, you can't get caught in this trap where, you know, you get so caught up in trying to find out what this is that we forget that there's a minus sign in there, right? But if you get it right from the onset, because sometimes it happened to me where I write the correct answer and I completely forget the minus sign, right? And then you're doing the question and you don't know why it look wrong or it feel wrong, right? And then you remember, say, wait, you had a minus sign there and you did forget it. So that will happen from time to time. You just have to remember if there's a minus sign there, right? Now, if it's just this, then you don't have a problem. But because you have a minus sign, we have to be careful with it. The minus signs typically make most questions a little bit more challenging in that we cannot be careless with it then. So when you multiply 20 by 20, we get 400. Add 400 to 400, 800. 800 to 800, 1600. So therefore, I might be tempted to write my answer and leave it like this. Right? Let me see if we can. Yeah, there we go. Now, another thing that you can do to remember, if you originally got minus 400, when you add minus 400 to minus 400, you're going to get minus 800. So if you add minus 800 to minus 800, you're going to get minus 1600. So therefore, even if you're just working with the knowledge of integers, you're going to remember, say, yeah, you need a minus sign. Yeah? So we just have to be careful with that. Now 2a easy, because a is 20, so just add 20 plus 20, you get 40. There you go. So we're done now. Now when you have this now, you don't have to waste any time. You can just start replacing each of them with what we have here. Yeah, you can literally just replace them. Right? So we can do them one by one. So the minus b was this. I'm going to rub out this and put the plus 9 there. Right? Well, I not even have to put plus 81. I mean, you already know say positive, but yeah. Now b squared is 81, so we can put that. Can put that here. Right? So we substitute two of them so far. Now we have minus 4ac. And you know, say, we could have literally do that. That'll make our life easier, you know. We could have used minus 4ac. Because watch the joke. If 4ac is minus 1600, then minus 4ac is going to be a positive 1600. So that way it eliminates the confusion that you have. Because if we do it like this, we're going to put in minus 1600. But what if we never do that? What if we say, make we call it minus 4ac from the get-go? In that case, this becomes positive, right? You could literally put a plus sign in front of that. Yeah? And therefore, when you're replacing minus 4ac, what you do? You put that. Yeah, I never considered that before. Imagine just instead of using 4ac, use minus 4ac, so that when you get to this part, you just, the middle becomes positive when that happens. And then now the 2a is 40, so you just rub out that and you replace it with 40. And this will work with whatever series of numbers them give you, right? It no matter. And then there's another trick that I like to do, right? Let's say, okay, under the square root, right? You have 1600 and you have the 81. When you add them, obviously you're gonna get you're going to get 1681. So let's put that. Let's put that there. Now, you can almost guess what this going to be. Because you have some square numbers that, say for instance, we know that if we square this, we're going to end up with that. So meaning if we multiply 40 by 40, we're supposed to get that. So the question is, if this is 40 times 40, and let us say you're trying to find out when you look at the number 1681, it's bigger than this, but smaller than that. So it have to fall somewhere between the 40 and the 50. Right? You're just not sure where it is. And then the other part of it too is that there are only so few numbers that when you multiply them, they end with a 1. Especially when they're squared numbers. So numbers that end with a 1, when you square them, is like numbers ending with 1, like 11, 21, 31, 41, 51, 61, 71, 81, going on and on, right? The other possibility is 9 by 9, 19 by 19, 29 by 29, 39 by 39, going on. So therefore, because it ends with a 1, is either the number must be either 41 times 41 or 49 times 49. But guess what? This is a little, 49 times 49 would be a lot closer to this number. So it wouldn't make sense for us to even use 49. Because the number will be too big. But let us say we're never sure, right? Fine. we can trick the system. So what could we do if we wanted to find out what 49 times 49 would be? What we could do is we replace 49 with something else. We replace it with 50 minus 1 and 50 minus 1. That is if you wanted to do it without, you know, do it without calculator and still get it right, yeah? Now, when you get comfortable with the distributive property, doing this easy for do, right? Because you can square this number, square that number, and the middle is when you multiply this by this and then add it to itself, right? So 50 times 1, 50, 50 plus 50 is 100, right? But because it's a minus 1, you get 1, minus 50. So plus 50 is 100, minus 50 plus minus 50 is a minus 100, right? So therefore, the middle must be minus 100. Minus 1 times minus 1, that go be a plus 1. And then 50 times 50, that's what? That's a 2,500. So you subtract the 100 from the 2,500. So your answer is 2,401. And if you put that in your calculator, chances are that's what you're going to get. So if you multiply 49 by 49, the answer we get is 2,401. But I don't have a tablet, so I'm not even know if I can. Come on, there we go. Alright, fine. Yeah. Okay. So obviously this is too far from that number. So the 49 by 49 never work. So make we use 41 times 41 then. Since the 49 never work, let's use the 41 instead. So let's use 41 times 41. That means we can replace it with how that would I go now? 40 plus 1. So I could write 40 plus 1. 40 plus 1. Now when I'm positive, it's nice because you don't have to worry about the negative signs, right? So 40 times 1, 40. 40 plus 40 is 80. So the middle term is going to be 80. 1 times 1, that's going to be 1. 40 times 40, this is 1600. So we'll put the plus sign here, plus sign here. Now, we add up all of that, we get what? We get that. Therefore, if we square root 1681, we're going to end up with this number, 41. Therefore, if I were to put now, I can say yeah, I can replace that with this. So 1681 is the square of 41. And of course, whenever that happens, yeah, you square root a square, you eliminate that sign. So therefore, this cancel that. So you can rub out all of that. and it leave you with just that. So yeah, and once you get here, you're in a good space, because this just means is either you have 9 plus 41 or 9 minus 41. So if you really want to figure out what it means, just rub out this. That's one of your possibilities. Or rub out that, and that's another one. Obviously you want the minus to be a little bit higher, right? Yeah. So those are the two possibilities. It is either 9 plus 41 or minus 41. That is what this sign means. So it's either 9 plus 41 or 9 minus 41. So now you can actually write you can write that two ways. So you have one on the left and one on the right. So you can have so I have this. Yeah. So let me move this a little bit. Yeah. So that is just the translation of what you were looking at earlier. So yeah, once you reach here, so you know you're not in a bad space. You're a lot closer to what you're supposed to do, right? 9 plus 41, 50 over 40. You just cross out the zeros. So this part will be 5 over 4. This is going to be minus 32 over 40. And you can divide 32 and 40 by 4. So you're going to end up with 8 over 10. And if you end up with 8 over 10, you can reduce that again. Right? 8 over 10, that's going to be, you divide them by 2, you get what? 4 over 5. So this is going to be 5 over 4, this is going to be minus 4 over 5. Yeah. I'm trying to remember if there's if there's anything else I'm forgetting, but I don't know. But can always throw up another one of them. So let me see if I can find another one. I try to remember. Oh right, I have to look at the video. Oh, it's the video I need. Hold on, you know. Hold on. Oh, never mind. Found a paper with some of the what? Yeah, my tablet doing something weird, so I'm not even paying no mind right now because I'm madness that. Oh, okay, alright, this I don't want to use that. Alright, fine, I will use it. Anyway, so let's try this one. This obviously this a madness, but still, why not? Obviously, that is implied, right? That it equal to 0. Yeah? Let me see. You know, I never tried that one before. I never tried that before. Like the other way around. Huh. Why not? You know what? Yeah, maybe do it the other way around. Wait. I want to do that and see what that would have come out to. Let's see how uncomfortable we are with this. Minus what again? Right, this. Let me see if. Alright, we'll move that a little bit. Yeah. Alright, so we have that, and again, let me just. Well, obviously, because it's the other way around now. This is our C, this is our B, and this is our A. Right? So our B is going to be, no, why I said B? Our C is 56. Our B at 23, and our A is going to be a minus 63. Yeah. This honest. Oops, sorry. Sorry about that. Yeah. This is the first time I'm doing it with the negative ax squared in terms of the quadratic formula. I completed square with it before, but never like this. Meaning using the quadratic formula, using this. Never quite did this one before. So let us see what becomes of that. Alright, hold on. Let me try and make that adjustment again. Alright, good. Alright, so again, with the madness that I come up with, I want to use minus b squared, minus 4ac, and 2a. Right? So why not write them down? So we have minus b, minus 4 ac, 2a, and of course we have b squared, right? So let us see what becomes of all of this. Oops, now I'm about a little bit further, because might be a bigger number. Alright, hold on. No, let me bring them closer. So let me bring this a little bit closer. So minus 4 AC and the 2A here. Yeah. Just one more adjustment here so that we, yeah, I want to see that a little bit better on that side. Alright, so what was our B again? Our B is 23, so minus 1 times B is minus B, minus 1 times this, we'll have minus 23. So this is going to be minus 23. Obviously, no. We're going to have a square 23. Alright? So let me do that madness right here. Let's do it. Let's do it right in this little space, and then we can write back that. So we have 20 plus 3 times 20 plus 3. So 20 times 3 is 60. So let's add 60 to itself. That's 120. So the middle is going to be 120. Now, if you square 20, the first term is going to be 400. And then you square 3, the last term is going to be 9. Right? So if you add up all of this, then let me just move this again, just a little bit. Yeah. So therefore, the square of 23 is going to be 529. Right? So now forget that now. So we confident said that is 529. And we can always double check that with the calculator and so on. Yeah? So we move this border back. Yeah. And then I go put back the 2A right here. Yeah. And then what is A? A is minus 63. So 63 plus 63, 126. So it will be minus 126. Now, for AC now. So you're going to have 63 times 56. Now, how could I use the prime numbers and solve that problem? 63 is 3 by 3 by 7. Obviously, I'm doing this a little bit off screen. Right? So you probably can't see what I'm going to do. Then you have 2 by 2 by 2 by 7. Okay. Alright, there's no easy way to get this done. This is basically 72 times 49. So if you want to do that instead. Yeah. But actually, I don't know why I say that. There is a way to do this. But there is a way to do that. You can do it similar to how we do the squaring of the numbers. So okay. Because I know this out of my head, I'll soon write it back. Right? We'll just write some rough work right here, and then we'll soon put back the formula right here. So let us say I wanted to multiply 56 by 63. May I cheat the game again? 50 plus 6, 60 plus 3. Yeah, man. Sometimes we have to find a different way to do it, right? Now, obviously, we have to be careful. We have to literally do this, step by step. So 50 times 60, that's going to be 3,000. So we have 3,000 for the first number, right? So this times this, then this times that, right? So now we have 150 next. Then we have 60 times 6, which is 360. And then now we have 6 times 3, which is 18. So now we add up all of that. And we have an answer for that. So that look like 510 plus 18, so 528. So 3,528. Oh, wait. So let me see if what I did make sense. 63 times 56. Yeah. So all of that was not for nothing, right? When you add up all of that, you get 3,528. Right? 510 plus the 18, 528, add it to this, you get 3,528. Right? So, but again, we have to be careful, yeah? We have to be careful. The A is minus 63. Right? The A is minus 63. So, it obviously means that when we multiply the 63 by the 56, whatever happened, that this number out here so go end up becoming positive. Alright? Because if you multiply minus 63 by 4, you're going to end up with a positive 252. And then you just multiply that by the C. 252 by the 56. But anyway, we already have the 3,528. So we'll just go add that to itself and then add that to itself again. So, hold on now. Don't do that. So, when we add that to itself, we get 7,056. And then we add that to 7,056. Yeah. Now, let me just make sure say that part makes sense, right? So even though I go write it down, I go double check it so that it makes sense, right? So now let's multiply 63 by 56 by 4. Yep. We end up with that very same answer. So, let me go again now. I want to be as careful with this as possible because you have 4AC different from minus 4AC. Right? So, minus 63 times 56, you end up with minus 3,528. Yeah? So you have that. Then you yeah. So it work out. Yeah. So remember, if you multiply a minus by a minus, you end up with a plus. Yeah, so figure say that makes sense. I just wanted to be absolutely sure. Right? So now we have a portion of what we need. Oh, big up Mika. I know one of my student named that. Yeah. Yeah. Alright, so let me put it back. What I had here originally. I'm gonna put back that part there. Put it back. So let's see what we can do now. We have minus B. We have this. Oh, the marker they start get weak now. Yeah. So okay. Minus B is minus 23. So we can replace this with minus 23. The B squared is 529, so we can replace this with 529. Now, for semantics, let me put a plus sign in front of that. So the minus 4AC becomes a plus 14,112. Just make sure it's we do that. And that's the reason why dealing with the minus sign is so important, because if we weren't careful with this, we'd end up with a minus sign there and we'd end up with a negative number under square root, and there's nothing you can do with that. Well, unless you're going to use imaginary numbers, which that's for a different lifetime. Right. Oh, 2a is minus 126. So I'm going to put that there. Let me not forget that. So this is minus 126. Alright, so now let's write something now. Let us add what is under the square root. 14,641. 14,641. So I can replace this. Yeah, with that. So the good news is, if you square root that, you're definitely going to get a perfect square. So, oh wait, why that number look familiar? That number look familiar. Yeah. Alright, if I square 11, oh yes. I don't know, mentally I've figured it out. If I square 11, I get 121. But if I multiply 121 by 11, I get 1331. And there's a pattern where you have 11, then you have 121, then after 121 you have 1331, and after 1331 you have 14641. So this is 11 raised to the 4, and if you divide that by 2, is really 11 raised to the 2. So this, if I square root this, I'm going to get 121. I can guarantee I'm going to get that. Yeah. Square root that, I get 121. So now I can change this now. Alright, so hold on there. Not, oh boy. Why do I always do me this? Yeah. I was in the middle of trying to replace that. No, what is that gonna look like now? Alright, 121 minus 21, 100 minus 2, 98. Okay, so there's one possibility where you have 98 over 126, but it's really minus 126, so there's that. 49 plus 49 is 98. Okay, alright. Then now on the other hand, alright, yeah, 121 plus 23 is 144. Okay, yeah. So the two possibilities is going to be a positive 98 over minus 126, or minus 144 over minus 126. Yeah, I just wanted to know if it could work with a negative a, and it actually worked. It actually worked itself out. I've never done it using the a as a negative before, right? Because usually we're accustomed to having this on the other side, and all of that. So I wanted to see if it would work, and it worked. It worked. And regardless of how ridiculous the numbers are, you can do what you can do. But yeah, I mean, imagine that. Imagine, and maybe that is I can give myself some practice with some madness, yeah? So imagine we need to find out this. What is AC? So I need to multiply 56 by 63, and then I cheat the game by doing this. I like that. I like that. I never do my multiplication like this. Oh, here's the second part to this, right? So just so we can make sense of it. So I'm going to write what's here. I'm going to write it down 2 times. So I'm going to write down 60 plus 3 times 60 plus 3. Now, let me just put this in red, just so that that's why I like color code these things, so that we don't get confused with what is happening. So now, my red 50 will go right here, and my plus red 6 will go right here. And what make life nice now is that we just focus one at a time. 50 times 60, well, we have 3,000 for that. So we're done with that. You can all tick them when you're done. So see there? We're done with that one there. Now we have 50 times 3, we'll just say 150. And now we're done with that. So we can move on to the 6 part now. 6 multiplied by 60, we have 360. So we take that part there too. And the last thing now, 6 times 3, we have 18. So then you have this. And no matter how much times you do this, you can't get it wrong. Can't get it wrong. 510 plus 18, 528. And so when you put these together, yeah. And it don't matter what you get. It don't matter which set of number you get, you can do it just like that. And if that is AC, then you know how to find 4 AC. So all you need to do, add this to itself, and when you get that answer, add that number to itself, and you're done. So even when the number big and ridiculous, and let's say you now have no calculator, you can do this. So just add this to itself, where you get 7,056, yeah. And then you just add 7,056 to 7,056. So let me put another one up there for the fun and see. if that work out. Now mind you, I don't want to use one that's easy. Like I'm not going to use one that have a 0 at the end, because them one they you have to top your head about that. Once it ends with a 0, you know how easy that is to do. Alright, let me use, we have 35 plus 33 and then now you know what the C is supposed to be, the B and the A. So C is 35, B 33, the A minus 54. Oh, hold on. Move this back. Yeah. So, out of curiosity, if we needed to find AC, and obviously you can put a negative at the end of it, because the most important thing is just multiply the number as is, and then you can worry about the minus sign after that. So, if you want to find out what minus 54 times that is, yeah, you just, oh, look at this. This is easy because it ends with a 0. It's alright. So we have 35 times 54. And now we have 30 plus 5 times 50 plus 4. Oh, I forgot to color code it. Alright. 30 here, 5 right there. So I'm going to write this down 2 times. So I have 50 plus 4 here, and then oh, great. Look at that off screen. Ah, there we go. Alright, so this 30 come down here, so and I go move it so we can see it. Right? So we'll put that 30 in front of this. The plus 5 over here. So move that over. And then we do what we did before. This times this, this times this, this times this, this times that. So 15, we have 2 0. This is 120. 250. And then what? 20 at the end. So I make sure I have everything correct now. 5 times 3, 15. 10 times 10, 100. 100 times that, yeah. Alright, so I could do that. So what is now? 370 plus 20, 390. So 1890. Alright, now go ahead and calculate and see if that works. Well, look like it did. So we did get 1890 after all of that. So yeah, look at that. Look on how distributive property come save my life. Yeah. Now, remember now, this part is just AC. So if you want 4 AC, add this to itself, get your answer, and take that answer and add it to itself. Right? Because you're technically multiplying when you do that. 1890 times 2 is the same as 1890 plus 1890. So just add them. Right? So therefore, let me see now. That would have been AC. Then if you add it to itself, hold on, I don't know. Alright, so 1890 would go up to, let me see, 3,780. Then when you add 3,780 to itself now, that would be make sure I said the right thing to put on. 3,780. So I have 7 should be 7,560. Yeah. Some of that. Let's double check all of that. Yeah. So therefore, this is AC. This is 2 AC. This is 4 AC. So yes, you can multiply it by 4. Or you can do this. Add this to itself, get that. Add that to itself, get that. And you get the 4 AC. Yeah, man. And the right thing that, Now the other thing I wanted to do, and obviously I'm going to do more of these later, but probably not going to do all of that today. What may I look for? Right, I was looking for, oh. No, those are, no. Ah, there we go. Oh, yeah. Alright, let me do one of the crazy ones before I go. Now, so I'm moving from this now to changing the subject of the formula again. So there is one I'm looking at that say 1 over v plus 1 over u equal 1 over that. Then let's say make okay. So typically what happens here, and this is something that I guess I learned from